What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 26 of The Edge. I'm your host, Sean Clark, otherwise known as Felice Around Azeroth. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the long-awaited Warlords release announcement. We're still plugging away at the beta raid testing and so much more. But first, as always, we're going to bring in the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Mr. Matt Lowe. What's up, Matt?
What's up?
There he is.
Well, finally. I know we were a little delayed this week. Partially my fault. My bad.
It's okay, we forgive you.
Yeah, no you don't.
No, not really. He was too busy with Beyonce.
Dude, the Beyonce concert was amazing.
His BFF.
I was actually in San Francisco watching the thing. It was Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Back for a second show, the official now co-host, Katie. How you doing tonight?
Hello. It's been a fun week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How fun has it been?
Oh, yes. On Thursday, my guild finally downed Heroic Garrosh. That was so exciting.
Nice.
There was much a hoot and a holler. But this week, we are relearning the rest of Siege of Morgamar because we've been extending for so long.
Gotta love it. So much fun. We here on The Edge are also proud to welcome another face, or I guess I should say voice, onto the show. Will did such a fantastic job on his first appearance of the show. It's hard to let him go. We would like to officially welcome Will to the show. Will, welcome to The Edge.
Very happy to be back. Not happy that my raid group has been hit by the attendance bug. I know you've heard of that one. But happy to be back raid testing, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And I swear I've been collecting at least like 15, 20 Vent and Mumble servers. So if you guys want to like go trolling some Vent and Mumble servers, I can hook you up.
That's always the best time.
Yep.
If you haven't noticed too, there's a new overlay because now there's a lot of us, so we had to make some alterations. So here you go. This is going to be the new look here, at least for a little while. Just a reminder too, our Warlords of Draenor beta key giveaways going on. It's going full steam. If you haven't already put in for the contest, we highly recommend you jump on Twitter and head over to edge_BlizzProTV and try to nab one of the 5 keys we're giving away. We plan on announcing the winners of the contest Thursday, August 14th, which is a huge day, and Friday, August 15th. Please help spread the word, and good luck. Also, BlizzPro.com has about 100 Warlords keys to give away as well. Head over to BlizzPro.com right now and see how you can enter to win. So, kicking things off, since there's so much to talk about, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm going to get right into the news. It should come to no surprise that the Heart of the Valorous buff is back for this weekend, starting tomorrow, August 8th. The buff increases your valor by 100%, as something we already know. This buff obviously ends goes to the weekend, ends on Monday, August 11th. And so, you know, if you're 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th alts that needs all that gear, which I know is super important, this is your chance to have at it. Obviously, this is just a way to keep players around until Warlords hits, which obviously should be the next few months, hopefully, which we'll get to that information in a little bit. Speaking of keeping people around, WoW is now down 800,000 people. Obviously, the Heart of the Valorous buff wasn't enough to keep them paying the sub fee, even though I'm still paying it. With no new content in about a year, it's really no surprise people are taking a break. They're either burnt out or bored, which is the case for most of us that have been raiding for a long time. It's interesting to note here that with WoW's current sub numbers at 6.8 million, that's current as of right now, it's roughly the same amount of number as the subs they had in Classic WoW in the third quarter of 2006, which was 7 million. As we know, people tend to leave at the end of expansions and quickly rush back for the next big patch or the release of the expansion itself, but don't worry, WoW isn't close to being dead, it's simply just aging. It's like a fine wine. You know?
A fine wine. Like my hunter's name, Chablis. It's like a Chablis.
Yeah, see? Matt knows all about fine wines.
Yeah.
He is a fine wine.
Wines to me every night.
2 new zones are available for preview from Blizzard, Nagrand and Spires of Iraq. Both zones look very impressive both in article form and in-game. Game designer Don Adams and associate quest designer Johnny Cash, not the singer, talk fairly in depth about the Spires of Iraq, and senior game designer Eric Malouf, along with associate game designer Kurt. What's this guy's name? I always want to say Sparkle. I'm probably butchering that name, so don't hate me. They cover Nagrand. These articles can be found over at worldofwarcraft.com. It's worth a check out to add to a little bit of hype about the Warlords release. Street date. Speaking of Warlords, All the hype is real. The time has finally arrived. Blizzard announced Wednesday it will be holding a special world premiere of the Warlords of Draenor cinematic. All of the major players from Blizzard, at least all of those that are left anyways, jab jab, will be in attendance, including Mike Morhaime, Chris Metzen, Ian Hazakostas, and the man himself, Brian Holinka. Alongside the cinematic, Blizzard has also lined up live interviews with WoW developers, the debut of a new lore miniseries entitled Lords of War, and the most important, the release date for Warlords. This event will be streamed over at worldofwarcraft.com Thursday, August 14th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We here at BlizzPro also have you covered. With the BlizzPro staff in attendance, we'll be posting pictures and writing articles on this special event. So keep an eye out for blizzpro.com come August 14th for more in-depth coverage. Now, are you actually attending this, Katie, or no?
My full intention is to go.
Full intention.
It's still a little on the fence. I got to find out if I can roll into work on Friday a few hours late and, get some sleep since it's a 4-hour go from Las Vegas to LA. But 90% chance I'm going to be there.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to it.
So there you go. We're even going to have people in the podcast there. And then, of course, we'll all get together for the old BlizzCon. And finally, the Blizzard announced some pretty awesome treats for us in honor of Warcraft's 10-year anniversary. Can't believe it's already been 10 years. The Torn Mill and South Shore Bloodback is back. Described as a team deathmatch-style battleground, this is sure to tantalize any long-time players' feels, which I know Matt loves that word. Speaking of getting all the feels, I did it again. Molten Core is back and redone as a 40-man raid in Raid Finder. Well, I guess Raid Finder is better than nothing, but for dealing with all those AFKers and mages that will be in Firespec, you get a special Core Hound mount for downing the Fire Lord himself, Ragnaros. Also, Blizzard threw in a new pet, the Molten Corgi. This pet will be available to any player who logs in during the 10-year anniversary event, as I'm sure Leroy had nothing to do with that. Anyways, now that all that news is out of the way, which is actually the fastest I think I've ever read all the news. That was done in like 6 minutes. That's pretty impressive. Let's get to the good stuff. So, we mentioned earlier raid testing. We're still dipping our hand in the raid testing, and I know Will has been... Actually, he was literally raid testing up until about 15 to 20 minutes before the podcast went live. So so let's go. Let's give us your feedback. What's been going on?
Cool. I think Katie was too, right?
Oh, yeah. She was in there all day, yeah. She's in there.
Totally.
All day, every day that I can.
Yeah, for sure. So they've really picked up the pace lately. They had 3 bosses on Tuesday, then 2 today, and then 2 tomorrow on Friday. And these have all been the heroic mode encounters, which, as you recall, is the new normal mode in Warlords. So assuming Friday's tests go okay, they'll have tested 12 out of the 17 bosses in the 2 new raids. So there's like 4 more bosses to go in Blackrock Foundry and 1 more in High Mall. And the only one left in High Mall is like the first boss in the instance, so it should probably be pretty easy to get tested. But this week there were some easy ones. They had Butcher, which is all about like stack up, spread out, and DPS check, so things like tracks type of deal. But see, even like the pug group that I was in got them to like 17% the second try, so pretty straightforward encounter. But then, on the other side of it, there was Korog. This was complicated as shit. It started with a magic resistance shield. Once you bust that, you have to have someone soak up a nullification shield from him while he's recharging and while you can do damage to him. And then that person has to take the shield and soak some other stuff. And then there's like fire debuffs, and there's frost bombs, and it's just ridiculously complicated. But it is the third to last boss in that instance, so yeah, you would assume it's pretty complex. But so yeah, getting down to 5 bosses left, and maybe they knock that out next week, and we move on to the normal modes, which is what flex mode is currently in Siege of Orgrimmar, and maybe we'll see some mythic testing. Still have LFR to do, but they usually just throw that up there for a week and let people queue up and whenever they can. So, have anyone else had a chance to do testing? What's it been like for you guys?
For me, it's been pretty fun because I've had the luxury of joining, just even though it's not my guild, it's a guild for my server, and I've been being able to go back with those guys and learn how they do things, and consistency feels nice because we can jump into the next boss that goes up, and we don't have to hammer out the weird stuff. We can get right into the mechanics and finding what works and what doesn't.
I know that Matt has been away, which kind of sucks, but I guess I know you're excited to get back in there and do some raid testing. So when are you gonna dip your toes back in the sand?
I was going to do it today, but I had to catch up on all other stuff that piled up while I was gone, so maybe back in tomorrow.
Matt is a very important person. In case you guys didn't know.
VIP.
He is like, it's like us, Blizzard, like Jesus, and then Matt.
I have like my own world somewhere,
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, he does. World of Maticus.
And I think they're doing more testing tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get back in on some of those, and I want to do some more videos, maybe, possibly, and we can just do maybe a demo or two next week.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Something, you know, I'll try to get a good one this time without me dying.
Well, at least you can work on the camera work.
You know, it's like, okay, it's like either camera work, not dying, and not embarrassing myself. You know, pick two. Okay, so
no, we want it all.
Yeah, I gotta pick two here. I can't just do all of them. You know, I'm not that godlike. You know.
Well, I mean, you could set it so the camera just follows you automatically. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, but then I won't be able to see anything. Oh, whatever, man.
I'm just saying.
Nobody uses that camera setting.
No one does. You're right.
That uses that camera setting.
But that's just one less thing you have to worry about for that one account. I mean, you just gotta make like one video. You know, like who cares? Whatever. Everyone's gonna make fun of you and be like, look at this noob. Look what he's doing.
No, they will. KT and I were talking about this on Twitter. They will make fun of you for whatever they can possibly figure out. So like clicking something, or you know, putting a DPS cooldown here when they want it over here. It's just, yeah.
You mean every ability isn't keybind 7 times? Idiot! Don't you even know to play this game? What are you, some kind of wrath baby?
Yep.
Get out of here.
Maybe.
That's me.
Noob. Look at these wrath babies. Matt,
yeah, I've been criticized many times of how I queue my spells up before to that degree, and like yesterday the 0.12 over hit cap. But hey, you don't have to worry about hit cap anymore. So
yeah, it's the best. That's the best. Well, I mean, one thing I know that we do have to worry about is now if we do this, which I don't think I have to worry about anyways because I don't have the audio capabilities to do this, but this is gonna be no sound because apparently we can't even, like, you know, play the game that we pay for and actually, you know, hear the music in the game if we want to rewatch it again, thanks to Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch has been an interesting animal the last day or so. They announced that they would be essentially muting 30-minute segments of any VOD, so this doesn't include live content as it's going out. It's just any recorded broadcast, your highlights, and full captures for any song that has been flagged for copyright, which I completely respect. You know, those that have their copyrighted music, they deserve, you know, the rights and the profits from that music. But 30-minute segment seems weird for maybe it might have been one 30-minute or 3-minute song, and especially Blizzard's own music. But thankfully, Blizzard did address the fact that if they get muted for using in-game music as the music for your streams, we have the permission to petition Twitch and be like, hey, we have the rights to this. Here's why Blizzard says that we can use it. And thankfully, there are people out in the community that specifically create music royalty-free. I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Techno Axe who has hundreds and hundreds of songs, hours upon hours of music that he actively fights to keep free for content creators. So we've got background noise, and that's pretty cool. But it feels like Twitch is jumping on what YouTube has been notorious for since Google bought them out, of flagged content. Now, I'm not a paid streamer, so it feels weird to me to have my content muted when I'm not getting any profits from it anyway. And the same goes for my YouTube videos. I don't have them monetized because I don't have the rights to the music, but it's still content that I want to share with other people.
Well, I mean, you got to figure that Google's going to come in and screw something up. You know, a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, it only affects the VODs. It's not that big of a deal. And if it is a big deal, you shouldn't be streaming that music anyways. But at the same time, I mean, if we got to go through all these loopholes of, you know, hey, man, I bought the Warlords expansion. Hey, man, you know, I've been playing it, and now you're sitting there and telling me I got to petition to make it so that the audio is available for people that want to review, even like, you know, this show. If I you know, BlizzPro itself as a website has rights to all music, everything in, you know, the game in terms of that, from Blizzard, directly in writing from Blizzard. Like, we have exclusive rights to all that stuff. So why do I have to go there and prove to them I have the rights when I shouldn't have to do that? I mean, if I'm playing the game, I bought the game, I shouldn't have to be jumping through all these hoops, which is kind of a big pain in the butt. A lot of the music you listened to before I started the stream was royalty-free music as well. So just to go to show you guys, there are some actually really good royalty-free music out there. The stuff I was listening to is actually pretty good. For people that don't get paid to do it, it's pretty impressive. I mean, we don't really get paid to do this. That's why it's kind of half-assed half the time, like right now.
But you do it because you love it.
I mean, I get paid. You guys don't get paid. I get paid in love.
We get paid in love.
Yeah, see?
And feels.
That's not scripted. Oh, there he is again. We should have a segment on how Matt hates the word feels. For every single person.
Word of the week. Words that Matt thinks should be stricken from the gamer vocabulary. That's what I think.
I think this should be hugs. You should take hugs out of gaming. Like, a lot of people in StarCraft do hug each other after, like, tournaments and shit. It's weird. Don't do that.
It's also...
Still step up from a good game pat on the butt.
Like, why are we having, like, shaking hands? Why you gotta hug people?
After, like, hockey games and football games?
Yeah, they don't hug.
No, they do the ass pat, you know? That's it.
Oh my god, we're getting so far off topic. Anyways, moving forward, along the train of the Warlords hype, there have been some perk changes that I know Katie wants to cover with you guys, which is actually some really interesting stuff. So what's been going on in regards to the perk changes?
So Blizzard had originally introduced the Draenor perks that were going to come out every level to, you know, add some value to, oh, we're not getting new talents all the time, and to, you know, not fight the ability bloat that they're trying to cut back on. So it was passive abilities that would improve your spells you already have, especially the time-old loved ones, especially like Fireball, for example. So what happened is they baked in and they changed it so the perks are achieved or unlocked every other level. I believe it's 2, 4, 6, and 8, 90, 2, 4, 6, and 8, where these go live, and then the rest have since disappeared. The spell IDs have even been reassigned or erased altogether. So what remains for Fire, since that's how I've been leveling, just to see how self-hating I can really be, despite the luxury of my rating gear, which makes a lot of the leveling content fairly negligible, which is good and bad. For Fire, what remains is improved Flame Strike, which gives Flame Strike no longer a cooldown. Right before you hit that point, it's a 12-second cooldown, and remember, because of ability pruning, we don't have any other AoE. There's no Arcane Explosion, there's no Blizzard, you get Flame Strike. You can talent Blast Wave, but again, a cooldown. So being able to spam that Flame Strike is kind of nice. I noticed using it higher levels a lot more than what I originally had for a kind of forgotten spell. After that is improved Inferno Blast. Inferno Blast now spreads damage over time effects of Pyroblast, Ignite, and Combustion to 2 additional targets. Now, as it stands, it starts off at 3 targets. You can talent it for 4, or excuse me, you can glyph it for 4, and then this unlocks it for 5 and 6. So being able to spread dots onto 6 targets is going to be pretty fantastic for AoE fights going on. Next up is improved. Yeah. Made is OP, always, yay! But still quite fragile. Improved Scorch, which is the low damage, free, also cast while moving spell for fire mages, will grant a 30% speed buff every time you cast it for 3 seconds. So you can run around, spam Scorch, and kind of zoom kite all over the place, which I've taken advantage of when I pull a few things more than I need to.
I like Scork better.
And then the last one that is still remaining of the perks for fire is enhanced pyrotechnics. So each time your fireball or frostfire bolt fails to critically strike a target, you gain a stacking 5% increase of critical strike chance until you critically strike, which is, like Christmas for fire. Of crit and crit with a side of crit. Need more crit, not enough crit.
That's so much crit.
What was removed was reducing the cooldown of Infernal Blast by 1 second, which I believe is a 6 or 8 second on its own. So it's not something you can spam, but it's there and is fairly powerful, especially with the other perks that are involved. Pyroblast had an increased critical strike chance of 15%, which Pyro is kind of a funny animal anyway because its crit quotients are different than other spells, which grants such a long cast time instant. The next one was increasing the duration of combustion by 20%. And with that, a level 100 talent, the cooldown on it was dropped down every second that you crit. So it's longer, it comes up faster, and it's kind of interesting. But it's nice to see that it's baked in now. Fireball and Frostfire Bolt damage have been increased 20%, and increased damage from Dragon's Breath by 50%. So despite the fact that we lost Cone of Cold and it's replaced by Dragon's Breath, it packs quite a bit of a punch, especially for killing stuff that have the last few percentage points.
Did you feel like the class has changed a lot?
Yes and no. It plays a lot different now between the level 100. I don't get to blow my whole wad alter time and spam it all over again. Things are a lot more fluid and not so punishing. So if I mess up, it's not the end of the game for me or the end of the fight. I felt that I could catch up to somebody who was playing something else. I wasn't going to scrape the bottom of the meter boot for that entire fight because I missed something.
Right.
But there's a lot more little things to play with.
See,
which is nice.
I was doing some PvP on my rogue, and that felt really weird. It's kind of hard to explain unless you're in it and actually do it, but it was like, I don't know. I was putting recoup on myself, and I just wasn't dying. Like, I don't know if, the damage just isn't high enough or the heal is too good, but I mean, and of course you could talent, my abilities have changed to the point where I can use feint and take reduced damage for an extended period of time. It's like 30% reduced damage for like 10, 12 seconds. I mean, I have all these damage reduction abilities now with my self heal, and I'm not getting CC'd. I'm just not. And it's awesome. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with my life.
What about the combo point thing? Combo point change?
The combo point change isn't like that big of a deal. I mean, it feels kind of natural, to be honest with you, for someone that's played a rogue for as long as I have. It feels good. Honestly, the rogue, like my rogue, feels very, very, very similar to live. There's just some minor changes that make it better, like the slice and dice, for example, like the slice and dice perk. Like not having to apply slice and dice and just having it as a passive is the most ridiculous. I mean, I still can't get over that. Like, to me, that like it blows my mind, dude. Like, that's so good. It's so good. So it's like the little things, like, it's knowing where the combo points are supposed to go, and using your level 100 talents. The I can't remember the name of it, but the one with the guy, like, it's just a shadow version of yourself, and it mimics the damage that you do and the abilities that you use, and then it applies it when it's done learning. That is like so strong right now. If you can like get someone in and use Shadow Dance, get some ambushes in there, get some full combo points going, get an eviscerate and all this stuff. I mean, it's just like, it's like double damage. It's like having it twice. It's really, really nice. So the PvE side of it, for some reason, like I'm still having problems with staying connected and getting in or getting a good group going. So the PvE side hasn't been very friendly to me. The PvP side has been a lot more kind of, you know, I can kind of get in. I know what I'm going to be able to do. I don't have to wait around for groups, and then all of a sudden, like 3 people can't get in, or they get disconnected, or I'm having all these just issues with getting into raids. I really, 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 really want to do some raid testing. We should probably just do some raid testing after this, actually, because guess what? We have a beta, so
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
we can do that.
Got
Love
tomorrow.
me some testing.
two tests tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow I got to work like 14 hours. That's terrible, of course.
Well, then forget
Ooh.
it.
Yeah, enjoy it for me. Look at Matt over
That
there.
makes 10 feel good.
Matt's like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? He's like, I'm just over here hanging out, playing online poker.
No, I wish. I was actually there was some news stuff that was occurring that I was trying to follow up on and see if it was anything of importance.
Was it?
Because my launcher just fired off actually a moment ago. They just deployed another quick beta update, so I was trying to see if there's anything relevant in there. But no.
Well, that just got me excited for no reason.
Yeah, well,
Disappointment.
You heard it here first. Nothing exciting.
Yeah.
the last patch was a pretty significant tuning change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
Spud fixes, right? So that's my guess.
Yeah, like hunters, it was all like buff just about everything in our list about 20%. Kill, command, arcane shot, just bam, here's 20% more on top of everything else. So I
This
guess
looks like
hunter's
it's
OP now.
They're definitely tuning some stuff this time around for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those,
Yeah, Mage just got a lot of small percentage buffs that
yeah, I said rogues.
were noticeable because I'm still level 90. I haven't quite hit 91 and gotten out of Tanan Jungle again, but I'm one-shotting stuff and it's funny.
Yeah.
I still think the damage is a little bit light. I mean, for people that aren't in the beta though too, I mean, when you're in, you know, if you go to a level 100 server and you're in the gear that they put you in, and if you're against just a normal level 100 non-raid test target dummy, you're still hitting. I mean, I can crit for like 650k, you know, and more and up. So I'm still hitting like ridiculously hard right now. Against raid test dummies like bosses, I'm hitting significantly lower than that, which is obviously to be expected, but it's like a huge drop. It's like instead of hitting like 600 and something k, I'm critting for like, you know, 130k. You know, it's a pretty big difference. So, but you'll find that out if you win our contest.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, plug. So there you go. Bunch of stuff to talk about. We actually got through it really fast, which is actually really impressive for us because normally we actually run overtime, but today we were under time. So perfect. Yay for speedy talking. So Katie, any shout outs, anything you got before we take off tonight?
I'm gonna throw my shout out to my guildies because we got Garrosh, and then one more shout out to TechnoAxe because I know I'm going to be using his music and contributing to his cause because I think it's a noble effort.
There you go. Perfect. Will?
Probably shout back to KT because I watched your Garrosh kill. That was actually fun to watch that kind of stuff and get that same feeling because I watched it a couple nights in a row. I was like, yes, they did it. Woo. So, good job. That's mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Matt?
No shoutouts here. Just wanted to answer some quick questions in the channel there. For those of you listening and not listening to us live, one question from one of our viewers is, what is the item level of level 100 gear? I'm gonna answer that really quick, and then we can get on our way here. But from what I've seen so far, entry level greens and blues at level 100 are higher than 600. When I was doing raid testing, I believe our stuff was scaled up to 650 or 660 or whatever it is. So that's my guess for what they're aiming for.
PvP was 690.
690? Okay, so a little higher than that, yeah. Beta does have PvP gear, so what we've been doing is if and when you guys get access to the beta, I would suggest you make a character on the PvP level 100 servers and then start pillaging the vendor that sells your gear because they give some awesome set bonuses that are normally meant for PvP, but they're pretty cool. Some of them are pretty useful for raiding gear. So definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my shout out, anyways. Not really much of a shout out, but more of a, I guess.
Yeah.
PSA.
One thing I noticed off of jewel crafting is the crafted gear starts out, I think it's at 640, or yeah, I think it's 645, but there's some jewel crafting items that upgrade it. There's 2 upgrades actually. One was a 15 item level upgrade, and then the second was a 10 level, and it went from 665 was the final upgrade.
Yep.
And with that, with the crafted gear also, you could re-roll the stats. So if I had my tailor buddy craft me a belt that had mastery and versatility, and I was looking for crit and haste, I could use a jewel crafting item on it and re-roll the stats.
So pseudo reforging, but not really reforging.
It feels a little more like Diablo,
Yeah,
but
right.
not quite so expensive.
Yeah.
So
You watch, it's gonna be like a raid. It's gonna be like a raid boss where you have to like go up to a control panel, and then you're all of a sudden gonna be like taking over this little barracks, and these dudes are gonna come out of it, and then you gotta build up a bunch of dudes to
Don't
go
even
fight.
joke about that. Don't even joke about that.
And
There
then instead of attacking with a gun, they attack with these little playing cards, and then things come out of them. It's like, how can Blizzard like literally incorporate all their games into one game? Oh, I know. Warcraft's getting kind of ridiculous now. This sideways time jump. What is this, Lost? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Dude,
danger, Will Robinson, danger.
So many people are gonna die because it won't matter. Like Thrall's gonna die, and like all these people are gonna be dead, and then the next expansion comes out like, guys, that was fine. It was just like a dream. You're like in a coma. Don't worry about it. Last question. The guy, one of the viewers asked us, did all classes lose the same amount of spells? That's kind of a loaded question because no.
I'd say no.
Some classes lost more because it's not that the number of spells wasn't necessarily like the importance. It was like the functionality of each spell. So like some classes had a lot more useless spells than others. That's more like an accurate way of describing it, I guess.
Yeah. Like for example, all the healers lost most of their major mana regeneration type spells, or those spells got reworked into something else different. Like, priests don't have Hymn of Hope anymore, right? So
right.
Little things like that, or some spells that were once available to every spec are now consolidated into just one. So you got to be that spec in order to use that spell. For example, I can't use Renew or Binding Heal unless I'm holy, which, so
that was his world ending.
It's just so short.
Yeah.
Forks.
Fire mages are more along the lines of, well, you used to use this spell, but now you can't anymore because you're not the right spec. But there was almost nothing removed. It was all, well, we have 3 versions of the same thing that kind of works in different ways to fill that niche, but now you get to use this as Frost, you get to use this as Fire, you get to use this as Arcane. And for me, the only thing I really miss, honestly, is Arcane Explosion, because I can't count the amount of times that I have stuff that has like 5 hit points left and have to do a full cast of something because all my instants are on cooldown and I got nothing left.
Mage problems. Mage problems.
Yeah. Oh my god, am I loud again? Stupid thing. I hate this computer. No, I'm good. Oh my god. I screamed for no reason. The nerd rage is real. So there you go. Plenty of beta questions, guys. If you guys have questions for us in our immense expertise, you can tweet at us, @edge_BluesProTV. That's also where you can find the information for the beta giveaway. If you just got in, you want your friends to get in, or you aren't in and your friends are in, that kind of thing, or maybe you just want to woo some lovely trumpet and give her a beta key and be the sole affection receiver from that person for that week. That'd be a good call as well. You can check it over bluespro.com. Check us out over there. We're under TV shows or Blizzard TV, Edge. You can find us over there. They're also giving away a bunch of beta keys as well. We're gonna be doing our drawing August 14th to 15th. Probably right around the time they start doing that announcement. Probably a little bit after that, we'll be doing it. For me, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon, so it should be good. Other than that, that's gonna be it for us, I guess. Until next week, and Matt will be leading the boat. He's gonna be leading the band. He's gonna have bells and missiles and Beyonce blaring. Look at him. Look at him. He's so hype. He's more hype about Beyonce than he is about Warlords. Look at him. Good lord. But for all the guys, that's your first time here. So to the viewers that are in the chat, we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. It means a lot to us that have to do a lot of the work behind the scenes. So we hope you appreciate it. But other than that, guys, we are out for the week. We will see you guys next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern is when we go live. But we're out for now. Peace.